At Martin County Fire Rescue, 5-inch supply line is our main source of water supply. We've had some issues with it in the past. This presentation, we're going to talk about how we store it, how we deploy it, and how we repack it. Okay. One of the issues that we have here in Martin County is we have a covered hose bed. Obviously, the reason why we covered it was because hose was getting deteriorated from the weather and also the sun. When they did create the cover for this truck, they put a bar over the back. This bar is our primary source of problems with the way we used to pack the hose. The way we used to pack the hose, it was staggered and it was kind of this or that, or there wasn't really that much organization to it. And what I'm going to talk about is how we do store the hose. The new way we store it, it's 5 different flat loads with 200 feet apiece. Okay, we're going to go over that in a little bit. And what's helpful in storing it this way is that you actually know how much hose you have on it just by looking at it from the back. These doors was creating a problem because the couplings were flipping, and when they flip, they hit the top of it, and then they get stuck. As you can see, there's 5 different flat loads, and each load, like we stated earlier, has 200 feet in there. This should be very easily seen. Obviously, the first hose off is this, and this would go 200 feet, and this would be your next 400, 600, and so on. Okay, what I'm showing you right here is the front of the hose bed. In the front of the hose bed, I had mentioned before, this is where the couplings are stored. What I'm going to do is show you how they're stored. If you look right here, I'm going to fold up the sections, and you can see here, this coupling is underneath, this coupling is on top. And actually, if I fold it, again, we're going to get into more of this when we repack it and show you. But what it does, it creates the room here. Again, it creates a ramping effect when it is actually taken off the truck. We have basically 1 Dutchman per section. And I don't know if you're aware, but when we normally have the staggered couplings, we have Dutchmans everywhere and anywhere. But this section, actually, the Dutchmans are elongated, they're flat, and they're easily deployable. This is the top of the hose bed, and you can see it goes from virtually nothing to about 8 to 10 inches on the back of the truck. What that is, it's causing like a ramp effect. And what I'm going to show you here, there's these folds at the end, and this is where the couplings, this could be a little bit difficult at first, but it's actually really simple. We're going to go into that when we repack it. After the first 200-foot section came off, there was a fold and a flip up with the other 5-inch sections. What happens to that flip up, which is great, those 3 sections actually go into the channel that just went out. And I can promise you it will not get stuck inside the hose bed. The only thing that gets stuck in the hose bed are the couplings, okay? And if you notice in the deployment, the couplings went out like a freight train. It was good to go. And you did see we did make 2 curves in that deployment. Now, again, the deployment went well. We're going to show you how to repack it. We have roughly 400 feet on the ground, and we're going to show you how to repack it and also how to put the Dutchmans that we talked about in there. What I'm going to show you here is the transition fold that I said was complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. What we're going to do here, we're going to show you a Dutchman, and then we're going to transition over into that fold. And that's the Dutchman right here. And this is the fold. Okay? Now it's important for this coupling to sit as close as you can up to the front of this hose bed. But you see with that fold, that was very simple. Okay, now we're going to start with the remaining sections of the hose. What I'm going to do until the next coupling, the hose is going to end right at the end of this coupling right here. Okay, which is right there. And the reason why it ends there is to give it space. Okay, pull it back a little bit. Okay. Okay. Okay, while we're repacking it, and actually this is going to be the coupling that's going to be in the middle. And I did tell you that there was one Dutchman. What I meant was one Dutchman per section of hose. And you're going to see that there's going to be a fold because I'm bringing this coupling back to sit in this pocket that we created right here. And we created a pocket, and what we're going to see, you're going to see the next hose is actually going to end all the way up here. Okay? Okay, now we're covering both couplings. Okay? And this gives us room for more hose. Okay, guys. Pull back. Okay. It's imperative also to make sure you maintain nice and straight on the flat load. Okay. Okay, this is going to be our next Dutchman. Try to do it upside down. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep. Next Dutchman. Okay. And there we go. Alright, rep the end. Okay, no video about 5-inch supply line can be complete without going over exactly how we wrap the hydrant. In Martin County, we've actually had an injury from this. Again, we talked about the hose bed and the hose getting stuck. We're going to show you it's the U-shape wrap around the hydrant. Okay, so if the truck is going this way, okay, this is the U-shape, and if you can walk around here, you can see the coupling is actually closer to the truck. The truck is going to be heading in that direction than to Tom. What's going to happen is if there is a chance where the truck, the hose could get tangled, I'm going to pull it and demonstrate exactly what's going to happen. The coupling is going to be safely pulled away from Tom without endangering him. Okay, speaking of the deployment of the 5-inch, there's considerations and concerns. Okay, concerns with the 5-inch is obviously it's a heavy hose. Okay, so you want to make sure when you're deploying it, you're not going to injure somebody, or you know what, God forbid you take out a vehicle or a tree. But anyway, the way we deploy it on this truck, it comes out so easy. You shouldn't do that. Other driver considerations. Obviously, water supply is very important when you're laying out 5-inch, and this is actually something for the officers, the station officers, or the battalion chief, whoever's in charge of a fire scene. Make sure when you lay out your 5-inch, you have the ladder truck in place, or have a spot for them to get there. Okay, we've actually delayed deployment of a 5-inch to get a ladder in place for ventilation. Just something to think about, because when you charge that ladder truck isn't coming anywhere near the building. As far as safety concerns, that's all I have right now. Obviously, there are many. But if you do have any others, please refer to training manual or the IFSTA book concerning 5-inch. Okay, as you can see, the finished product, you have a neat and uniform hose lay. You know exactly how much hose you have on the truck and how it's laid. Again, 200 feet per section. Doesn't get much easier than that.